Welcome to Omhint. My name is Pandit Jagannath Cassidy.
And my name is Vino Nityananda.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
And this is very relevant and important in this day and age, especially with how things are going on the internet and everything. Oftentimes we see, I'd like you to talk about criticism.
Okay.
Because a lot of times people get very emotionally hurt by these things. There's a lot of, the criticism's a major issue these days.
Yes. Being insulted.
Being insulted, people get insulted, people are yelling at each other, especially in Facebook, people are having, flame wars and Twitter and all this stuff, and people are being offended, and what's the best way to deal with criticism? If you get criticized, what's the best way to kind of, deal with that emotionally? Right. And, how can you feel about that? And what's some ways of maybe perspectives of maybe looking at it that you can improve in your life, or for improvement in your own life? What kind of things what kind of light can you shed on this issue? Right,
yeah. Well, the best way to deal with anything is personal in any case. It's individual to each person, but there are some principles that are worth thinking about. And when I do my training programs, I talk about 5 principles related to this issue of criticism, of having negativity hurled at you, being insulted, and then it puts us in a negative space and it makes us spiral downwards. Instead of becoming energized, we become de-energized. We feel loss of steam to do things, like that. So the first thing that I talk about is, if we can see when someone is criticizing me or someone is insulting me, if I see that as a gift that's being given to me, if I look at it as a gift. Now people think, how can that ever be a gift? I mean, that's just doesn't make sense. But actually it's a fact. Just like, when we were children and in different cultures, like for example, in America, a lot of people celebrate Christmas, and on Christmas Eve, the children look forward to gifts, that they're going to get some gifts for Christmas. And for days and weeks ahead, sometimes the parents put the Christmas gifts underneath the tree like that. So there was once this boy, and he knew what he wanted for Christmas. And so for a long time, he would give a hint to his parents, that this is what I want is something like this, and he wouldn't spell it out, but they got an idea, because he would show them pictures, this, that, and the other, and so they got an idea what he really wanted. So come Christmas time, the boy saw that, there was no package there that would have the type of gift he wanted.
Right.
But then right at the time, just before the gift opening ceremony, the father walks in with a huge package. Huge package. And the boy, he's beaming, he knows, I got it. This is the gift that I wanted. And so then the father says, go ahead, you can, open your gifts. And so the boy rips the package open because he wants to get to the gift, right? So the package is actually like something that's holding him back from getting the gift. So he just really rips the package apart. Then he sees there's another package inside there. So he thinks maybe it's just a very strong thing that I got is a strong gift. So he needed stronger packaging, which is why they put the package inside another package. So he ripped open that package, but now there was a smaller package in there. And he started thinking, well, it's probably not the size that I wanted. He wanted a bicycle.
Right.
So he thought to himself, that's not the size I want, but maybe it's, it might be something that I've got to construct myself, and so it could be that the package is smaller, but actually the bicycle will turn out to be the size I want it to be.
Right.
So he rips open that package and he finds an even smaller package in there. Now he's getting a little worried. He's thinking, no, this is not the same thing that I asked for. This is something else. But he thinks, hey, let me see what it is. So he rips that package apart and he finds there's an even smaller package in there. And he knows now that this probably is a miniature bicycle. It's not a real bicycle. It's a gift, but it's not what I really wanted. But anyway, for him it was okay. Maybe I didn't make it so clear to my parents what I wanted. So he ripped open that package, and inside was a yet smaller package. which when he opened, he found that there was a pencil sharpener in there.
Oh, man.
And so you can imagine his disappointment.
Yeah.
He looks at his father and his mother like, what? What is our relationship here? You know what I mean? Gave me a pencil sharpener for Christmas, you know?
Yeah, man.
Knowing full well. Yeah, it was like, you know. So the father is smiling, you know, he's got a smirk on his face, and son says, you know, why are you smiling? You know, what's so funny about this? And he says, well, my son, he said, you don't know how to open gifts. That's your problem. You need to learn how to open gifts. And he says, why? He says, well, you just ripped the package apart. You didn't really look for what you were looking for. You were just thinking. You had a preconceived idea.
Right.
What it's going to be. You're assuming things. Yeah. You're assuming things. Yeah. So then, so he said, why don't you go back and go to the first package, you know, and look nicely. And he says, my suggestion is, why don't you start from the smallest package and go to the larger package, each package, and see what you might find. So the boy went to the next larger package. He looked all over it, couldn't see anything. He said, nothing here. I said, okay. Next package, next package. And when he came to the final package, on the inside part of the wrapping was a card. And the card was actually a coupon worth $1,500 at a famous bicycle store where he could get a bicycle that was way beyond his dreams or what he wanted as a bicycle.
Oh, wow.
And he became so happy and hugged his father and his mother, and he said, you're the best father and the best mother. I got the best gift. Now I'll be able to get the bicycle I really want, because I was worried that you may not get me the exact thing I wanted. Now I can choose my own bicycle. I can choose the configuration of that bicycle like that, you know? So we can see in this, it's an example, it's a very good example, that oftentimes, or pretty much all the times that I know of, I would say every time. I say oftentimes because you never know, there can be an exception that might happen.
Right.
But the rule is that if you actually see the criticism or the insult as a gift being given to you, then try to figure out what is the gift here that I can use to actually turn my life into a much better life than it was prior to that gift. Because that's the idea, right? Once he got his bicycle, he was going to have more fun in life than he had without the bicycle.
Right. That's like the analogy they have of the alchemist, right?
Right.
He turns the lead into gold.
There you go.
Whatever, I try and do this, whatever energy comes at me, I try and redirect it.
You can redirect it, yeah.
Redirect it, change it, try and find out some use or value in it. Lemonade
out of lemons, you know, we say make lemonade out of lemons, like that. And it's beyond that as well. I mean, you know, we could really go into wonderful stories about this. The second thing that I say is that if you've been insulted, someone has said something to you that is really very hurtful, it could be that what they said is totally untrue about you. And if that happens, the law of karma says that you will get all of the credit of their lives that they've left up till now, and they will take away the negatives in your life, and that goes to them. And so it's a transfer. It's a transfer of assets and liabilities, you know. You get all the assets of that person, and you give away your liabilities to that person if they've said the wrong thing about you. It's a little like if I say to you, you know, that if you'll just let me yell at you for 5 minutes, but at the end of the 5 minutes, I want you to go home and something really great's going to happen in your life. And you think, what could happen if you insult me? I'm going to be an unhappy person. You're not going to think of you as a friend anymore. There's going to be a problem in our relationship. But I say, no, just check it out. So then I yell at you for 5 minutes and I say really nasty things about you. It really hurts, you know, you're squirming with pain, you know. Then you go home and you get a call from your bank manager and he says, someone just transferred $1 billion into your bank account, you know. And we just want to be sure that you know that something like that was going to happen, because it may be a mistake, it might be an error, may have been meant to be transferred to somebody else's account, but it got transferred to your account, like that. So and so then you realize, wow, I remember him saying, when you go home, something great's going to happen, and you're going to say to yourself, and then you call me and you say, man, I had no idea that after listening to all of your crap for the 5 minutes that I was going to end up with me getting $1 billion. I mean, you can yell at me anytime you want, man. If this is the result I'm going to be getting, be my guest and yell at me, you know?
Yeah.
Like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is actually has happened in many cases. People have had setbacks in their life because somebody said something really bad, and it turned out that what actually happened was that they suddenly found that the difficulties in their life started going away.
Right.
And they became actually better off in their life as a result. And this actually happens, and you can try it out.
Yeah, false criticism is very dangerous. It actually talks about this in Mahabharata.
Exactly.
That
the one who's giving the false criticism is the one who is in great danger.
Yes.
The one receiving it is in great fortune.
Right, no, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, it says that, it even goes this far, if you falsely give false criticism that somebody has done something bad, then you actually get some of the sin.
You will get that person. You get the sin of that person.
Yeah.
And you'll give away your credits to that person.
Yes, exactly.
So, you know, that's really very harmful.
Yeah.
So one should never do that.
Right, exactly.
You know, like that. So, and then the third thing I say is, well, it could be partly true and partly false. And to the extent that it's partly true, you will get some credit, and some of your bad things that were going to happen to you are now gone. It's become canceled. The bad karma got canceled. Some of the bad karma got canceled. And to the extent that it is true, then you should reflect on what can you do that will allow you to become a better person so others can feel more happiness. Because one of the things that it is that the Vedas say is that the purpose of life is to love and be loved. Well, obviously, if you want to love somebody, you have to be a nice person. You know, a bad person doesn't go around loving people. They go around hating people and causing problems for others. You know, they don't do good for others like that. They're not well wishers. And that's what you want in your friends. You want people who are your real well wishers.
Exactly.
That they always care about you and they're always there for you. You know, like that. And that's again another thing that I talk about, that how, you know, every one of us should have at least 4 or 5 well-wishers around us so that we feel supported and we can do really great things in our lives like that.
Yes.
But to the extent that there is a negativity in my life, I mean, the part that was correct about what I was insulted about or criticized, there's another part that I also talk about, and that is don't too much focus on your own negatives. Because in life, whatever you focus on will expand. And so focus on your positives, build your strengths. And when you build your strengths, your negatives will become insignificant and it'll be easier for you to take care of it. Instead of this, because they may overwhelm you. When you try to tackle the negatives immediately, they may overwhelm you, and then you're really in a bad spot. You put yourself in a bad spot.
Yeah, you know, in astrology, you know, a lot of times they'll give gems as remedies. And there's 2 schools of that. One is if there's a negative planet, you try and fix it. And the other one is stay away from the negative planets and just focus on what planets are good and enhance and encourage those.
And
as far as gems go, I'm totally in the positive camp. Because my practical experience, and it's not, you know, all mystical practices have to reflect reality. My practical experience is the people that wear the gem for the bad planet just get worse.
Really?
Wow. I mean, I've seen people, and I warn them, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting the Saturn stone. I'm like, don't do it. And then they're like, oh, no, but my astrologer told me. And I'm like, just don't do it. And they get it, and then they get in a car wreck, or some kind of horrible things happens, and I'm like, oh my God, but this is what happens. But it's when you have a strong planet.
And you wear the stone of that planet.
And then all the good things happen.
Powerful things happen. That can protect you also when the negative things happen.
So it's much better to encourage the positives. There's other remedies for the negatives, and they're a lot simpler than
wearing a gem. It's really a money-making exercise in a lot of cases. And that's the difficulty. So basically, this is the type of thing that I give them as options. You know, the better options in life to deal with things like that. Now, the fourth option is that it could be that everything that was said about you was correct, and you really didn't like to hear about it. That's a little like tough love, you know, that sometimes we do have to hear, or not sometimes, I would say it's always good to hear what I can do to make myself a better person. It's like when I do business training, I work with some very large businesses to help them to do better in terms of their bottom line profitability, market share, various aspects, pricing points, so many different things in businesses that are issues, marketing, things like that. And so I tell the business people that a good businessman has criticism for breakfast. That's what they have for breakfast, criticism, because it allows them to sharpen the pencil, to make the company a better company, improve their products, improve their presentations, improve the persons who are representing the company that. All these types of things actually become better when you hear about it. And instead of reeling from the criticism, better to see the value in the criticism and then take that value and make the most of that value. Because most people don't want that value. These are like people, like I said, coin, I give the example of the coin, right? There's a head side of the coin, the tail side of the coin. Imagine the head side of the coin is opportunities and they're all positive. And the tail side of the coin is challenges and so much negativity. But imagine I will only accept coins head side up and I will refuse to accept coins tail side up. Gold coins, then that's my loss, right?
That's arrogance.
And it's ignorance also.
Yes.
It's ignorance. Because when you take a coin, if it's head side up, tail side up, it has the same value. So it's amazing that in life, when we accept criticism and we understand the value that criticism is allowing me to take advantage of, to live, to accept, then my life is richer. For hearing something that I need to improve myself about.
This is so important in this day and age. Because there's so many, it's unbelievable, but there's so many companies. I can think of 5 examples, but I'm not going to name names. Where they come out with faulty products, and they get some criticism. The only thing they say is, you're to blame.
You're to blame. You don't know how to use our product. Something wrong with you.
Well, they come up with something. Everybody says we don't like it. And then they're like, no, you have to like it. There's no conceivable thing in my mind I could even think of that is beyond improvement.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? If you're getting bad feedback, you don't yell at the person that's giving you bad feedback and say, I'm the victim. That's
absolutely.
You say you improve. You improve, but unfortunately, when arrogance and ignorance is too strong, it gets in the way. And what happens is, eventually, the customers are going to go somewhere else. And whatever it is that you're done.
And even the soul is eternal, And the definition of eternal is 2 things: that it always existed in the past, exists now, and will always exist in the future. But there's another part to that definition, is that it will always expand. The energy will always expand. So we're always going to get better at what we do in our lives, and that's the way we should live our lives. So that when it comes to old age, it's not like that in old age we become debilitated and now we can't do much and we have to live in an old person's home and it's like we reject society. No, actually, if you live your life properly, the older you become, the happier you're going to become, the greater the things you're going to do, because you're going to get yourself to do better and better as you go over a period of time. Some things won't work as well, but other things will work a lot better. So overall, you're doing much better. That's the way to live life. And so then the 5th thing that I talk about is that understand that those people who criticize you or insult you are not happy. Happy people don't go around criticizing and insulting people. Like, say, for example, a parent who really loves their child, they're happy with the child. If the child makes a mistake, they will correct the child with a lot of love and affection. In a way, the child will feel good. The child will respond to that very positively and feel strength in the relationship and a stronger relationship, instead of feeling like, well, this person doesn't like me and life sucks and this person sucks, etc.
Exactly. That's so true.
So we should also think that the person who's unhappy, maybe we should feel some compassion towards them. And like, forgiveness is an important thing, because as you say many times yourself, that forgiveness is for me. It's not for the other person. It's for me. So if I forgive, I'm the one who will become free of that load on my shoulders of negativity. That negativity is gone. Now, the negativity on the other person's side, that person has to take care of.
But at
least we can feel some compassion for that person, because we are related to one another.
We might have to make boundaries.
Keep boundaries,
But still, exactly, you have to recognize this person is not feeling. There's a reason that people are
and maybe
mad,
I can do something about that. And like we can pray for them. Generally, we don't try to do anything immediately because they're in a bad space.
Well, they'll just get maybe angrier, right?
They'll get only angrier, and they might say they might even do something worse.
Yeah.
So the idea is, but from a distance, we can pray for them, wish them well, or talk to some of their friends and see what we can do to help them out. Because I've seen many times that a person that may not like me for some reason, as we go along and I start doing the right things, I have integrity on my side, and I keep doing the right things, it actually turns around, and a person who actually was not my friend becomes a fast friend of mine.
Right.
And in business we say that all the time, that the customer who refuses to buy your product is your best customer. If you can convince that customer is always going to buy from you because they'll know you're a good company.
Right.
Tough customers are always the best customers.
Right.
So in our relationships, sometimes the toughest relationships are our best relationships, but you have to also be able to do it correctly, not just jump into it.
Exactly.
Like, say, for example, if a terrorist is coming at me, I don't embrace the terrorist and say, "Oh, I'm going to try and make you into a nice person." You're going to die in the process. So you don't want to do that. But at the same time, there are things that you can do that might turn them around and move away from their bad habits and do good things, and the whole world benefits from that.
I've often seen this happen, that people that complain the loudest about a certain thing usually have experience with it in a bad way, or have a lot of belief in the thing, but it's let them down. And so if you can show an example that that's something that's wrong, that's something else.
Yes.
But this is what I'm doing is the right thing. It's way better. And then they actually embrace it.
Yes. And actually, I find that even after these 5 options, some people feel like, no, this hasn't worked for me. It didn't work for me. Then I tell them there's one thing that they can do that will really help them, and that is to stay in the association of people who are strong. Because if you are around people who are very strong, and they have positive emotions and do things in a way that is very uplifting, then automatically you're going to get uplifted, and you're not going to worry about the issues that were brought out.
Association is so important, and it's picking the mindset up too.
Right.
I knew a guy that this is a true story. He was doing studying for something else, but he would always go to study in a really high grade college in their library. Because all the smart people
were there,
and it rubbed off, and he always did better.
Nice.
And what he was doing because of the just the energy of all the people, the big, they were working on a different level. And even though he was doing something totally unrelated, he'd go in there and work, and he could do what he was doing much better.
Exactly. So if one knows what one wants to do in one's life, right? If we know what we want to do, then stay in the association of those people who are very successful at doing that. Then that's going to keep you in a very positive frame, and also they're going to be able to give you support, resources, etc. So you feel like you have the freedom to do what you want to do, the resources to be able to do it, and the support system. And these 3 things are the things that actually set us up for success. Otherwise, we're set up for failure if we don't have these 3 things. And so this is what happens when we're in the association of powerful people like that. So how to find that association? There are courses that we teach, and people can learn that and come into the right association and do some really great things in their life.
Exactly.
But thank you very much for that question. It was a nice question.
Thank you for answering it.
All right, very good.